We are going to be looking at problem number 51. This is from section 3.1 of our textbook. And let me read the problem from the book. I have a summary of that problem written on the screen here, but they ask for the following. The profit for a product is given by P of x equals negative 12x squared plus 1,320x minus 21,600, where x is the number of units produced and sold. How many units give break even, that is, give zero profit for this product? What we are after then, and back to where I started from, what we're after is when does this equal to zero? That's our break even. In other words, we have no profit. We have a variety of techniques that we could use for doing this. One would be to try to factor this, but looking at those numbers, that looks like it would be very difficult to try to factor, so I think I'm going to give up that method. Another method would be to use a quadratic formula, so that looks like it might be feasible. So as I set up my pointer, we can think about what we want to do for this here. Okay, I need to choose a color. Let's choose the dark blue again. Now, as we look at this here, and I do have a calculator ready to use if I need it, and trying to find where my cursor is. I know you can see it. Remember or recall that our quadratic formula, we're going to have x is equal to, have a great big long line here. We have the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of, we're going to take b squared minus 4ac. This is all divided by 2a. And so in our particular problem, we're going to make our big line again. So what we're going to do is have the opposite of b, and I lost my cursor. So we're going to have the negative 1,320. Then we're going to have plus or minus the square root of, and then we're going to take this 1,320 squared minus 4 times the negative 12 times the negative 21,600. Those are the A and the C. Let me extend this a little bit. Let me extend this a little bit. All divided by 2 times, this would be negative 12 because that's our A. Let's do some of these computations, and I'm going to use the calculator to do some of these computations because working with these large numbers, it gets to be rather laborious. So let's do some of this together here. Okay, this is just going to be negative 24. Let's get the calculator a little bit bigger here so we can see what we're doing. If I move it up, let's turn it on here. So turning on the calculator, let me clear out what was on here from before. And let's do this inside computation here. So I'm going to do the 1360 squared. Make sure I got everything correct. And then I have a triple negative here. I have a negative 4, negative 12, negative 2100. So that's going to give me minus. This particular product is going to be 4 times 12 times 21,600. And that's what's underneath the radical. So if we hit enter, we get this huge number. And so let me write that down for us a second. So using this number here, we have this, this is going to be 12,800. So this is a huge number. And now we're going to take the square root of that number. So I'm going to hit second function, square root, second function, answer. And if you want, you can close the parentheses, but it's not necessary. And I'll hit enter. And this gives me a rounded off number, and somehow something's not quite the way I thought it should be. Let me double check my computations. I see a mistake. Going back, my mistake is up in here. This should be 1320. And so if you're like me, you know, you make mistakes like this and you discover them, and so you got to fix it. So we're going to go back and redo that. So I'm going to have 1320 squared. Then we had that triple negative, so that's going to be minus 4 times 12 times 21,600. And that gives us a new answer. So this one here I need to cross off. This should have been the square root of 705,600. Now we're going to take the square root of that answer, and this time that comes out to 840. So if we continue this here, this is going to give us this negative 1320 plus or minus, we're going to have this 840, and this is divided by a negative 24. The negative 24 came from the 2 times negative 12 up here. Now this is going to give us two different answers. Let's see what these two answers are. Okay? Taking my calculator here again, I am going to do this in one computation. So I'm going to have negative 1320, and let's do the positive one first, plus 840. And this is all divided by a negative 24. And so one of our answers is going to be just equal to 20. So one answer here that we're going to get is going to be 20. And if we get the other one, let me show you a quick way to do that. Rather than re-entering the whole thing, let's do second. I don't know what I did here. I think I clicked the wrong button. Alright, I'm back to where I was. Okay, I'm going to hit second entry, and I didn't get what I wanted. Second entry, that's what I wanted. Now I'm going to back up my cursor, and the second one we're going to make this a minus. Now we hit enter, and our other answer is going to be 90. And so our two answers are going to be 20 and 90. Another method we could have used is to graph these, and so let me just quickly do that. Let me clear out what I had in here before. If we put in the function, we had negative 12x squared, and then we have plus 1,320x minus 21,600. Now before I graph this, I'm going to have to set up my window, and I'm really not interested in having answers below 0. So I'm going to start at 0. Since I've already know that I'm going to get an answer of 90 here, let me go past that. Let me go to, say, 120. And if I'm doing that, I need to have a scale of maybe about 10. Let me back this up, make that scale 10. Notice that this would, if I take 120 divided by 10, that's going to give me 12 tick marks along the way. For my y minimum, we know that at 0, if x is equal to 0, we're going to get negative 21,600. So let's make that, say, negative about 22,000. And we do want to have some sort of a profit. So let's say, well, maybe, I don't know, let's try 20,000. I'm not sure. Once again, I need to change the scale. So if I change the scale, at least 1,000 here. Okay? So let's see what our graph looks like when I do this. Not too bad. Now, if we use the 0 function on here, so I do second calc. I thought I did second calc. And if I do number 2 for 0, let's get the one that's to the right over here. This should be where it crosses at 90. So this is a left bound. Going a little bit further, we have a right bound. And if I back it up, I can get close to it, and that would be my guess. And the calculator gives us our answer of 90 over here, which corresponds to the 90 that we had before. This now completes this exercise 51 from section 3.1.